Hi everyone, welcome back to First the Coffee Crochet. In this tutorial we're going to go over how to make the Summer Mint Crochet Shawl. This is a shawl that's great for beginners. It does stitch up really quick. The stitches used in the shawl are the double crochet, half double crochet, and triple crochet. Now to make this shawl you'll need 610 yards of a DK weight yarn. I did use the Truboo by Lion Brand for this shawl, and I do recommend using that one if you were wanting to have a shawl that you don't need to block once you get done with it, and if you want a good amount of drape in the shawl. For the pattern as written, it does take 3 skeins of the Truboo yarn. You'll also need a 6mm crochet hook, scissors, yarn needle to weave in your ends, and stitch markers are a good idea to help keep track of the first stitch of the row. This pattern is written in US terms, and the turning chains at the start of each row are not counted as a stitch. So as I said before, if you use the Truboo yarn, the blocking isn't necessary, but if you do use another type of yarn, it might need blocking to hold the shape better. Also, keep in mind that different yarns will have a different effect on the drape of the shawl. And if you do choose to use the Truboo Sparkle, just make sure to pay attention to the yardage on those because they are less than the regular Truboo colors. I think they're about 50 yards less per skein. So as this pattern is written, it's a 5-row repeat, and you do this repeat 14 times in the shawl. So with the 14 repeats, the finished size is 54 inches across the top and 34 inches from top to bottom. If you want to change the size of it, you can do so by adding or subtracting repeats. Each repeat will give you an extra 3.5 inches in width and an extra 2 inches in height. I do have a chart. This is also available on my website that gives you the estimated yarn that would be needed if you did want to change the size. Now, as always, there is a written pattern available on my website, and all the graphics and charts are available on that page, and I'll leave a link for that down in the description below. Remember, if you like these tutorials, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and make sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified as new tutorials come out. I do try to release some weekly and also release stitch tutorials in between those, and I'll probably be starting some review videos here soon. So let's go ahead and get started on the shawl. So to start out, just go ahead and create your slip knot. Right, and then make a chain of 4. Now in your first chain, that's what we're going to be working in to start out with. So this will count as just a turning chain. We don't count this as a stitch. We're going to do 1 triple crochet. So that's just yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. That'll give you 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2 more, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. It's a good idea, especially if you're new to crocheting. Go ahead and mark your first stitch each time you start a row, and that way you won't be dropping or adding any stitches because you'll know exactly where that last stitch is as you come back across. Okay, and then into that same chain, we're going to do 1 double crochet. That's just yarn over once, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. And now in that same chain, we're going to do another triple crochet. So just yarn over twice, insert your hook and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time until you finish off the stitch. So this will give you a total of 3 stitches for row 1, 1 triple crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 triple crochet. For row 2, we're going to chain 3 and turn your work. Now in this first stitch, we're going to do 1 triple crochet and 2 double crochet. That's 1 triple, and then 2 doubles, all in one stitch. Okay, now in that middle stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And now in this last stitch, go ahead and take our marker out. And we're going to do 2 double crochets and then 1 triple crochet in that last stitch. There's 1 double, second double, and the triple. So row 2 will have increased by 4 stitches, and that'll give us a total of 7 stitches. Okay, for row 3, we're going to chain 3, turn your work. Now in this first stitch, we're going to do 1 triple and then 1 double crochet. There's 1 triple, and go ahead and mark that. And then 1 double. Okay, now in this next stitch, we're going to do 2 more double crochets. And then we're going to continue to do double crochets in each stitch until we have 2 stitches left. So that'll be over the next 3 stitches, we're doing 1 double crochet. Right, now that we have 2 stitches left in the row, in the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets. And then in this last stitch we're going to do 1 double crochet and then 1 triple crochet. So that'll have increased this row by 4 more, so you'll have a total of 11 stitches in this row. Now for row 4, we're going to chain 3, turn your work. Now in this first stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 more double crochets in that stitch. And now we're going to do a double crochet in each stitch all the way across until we have 2 remaining on the row. Now that we have 2 remaining, in the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets. And then in the last stitch we're going to do 2 more double crochets. Right, now for row 5, it's going to be the same thing as we just did in row 4. So we'll chain 3, turn your work, 2 double crochets in the first stitch, then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Now we'll do double crochets all the way across until we're at the last 2 stitches of the row. Okay, last 2 stitches. On the next one, we're going to do 2 double crochets in that one stitch. And then in the last one, we'll do the same, 2 double crochets in that stitch. Row 6 is going to be the same exact thing. So we'll chain 3, turn your work. In the first and second stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets in each of those. And now we're going to do double crochet all the way across in each stitch until you have the last 2 stitches left. Now that we're at the last 2, in each of these last 2 stitches, we're doing 2 double crochets in each stitch. And I don't have my chart with me right now, so I will just put a little piece of text in the corner here giving you the stitch count for each row here. So for row 7, that's where we're going to start into the repeat for this shawl. And it's a 5-row repeat, so 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 will be what you repeat throughout the rest of this. Okay, for row 7, you'll chain 3. And we'll go ahead and turn our work. Now in this first stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and 1 double crochet. There is the first. And we will go ahead and mark that. And then you chain 1 and then do 1 more double crochet, all in that first stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to skip the next stitch, and then in the following stitch we're going to do a double crochet. And then we'll chain 1 again, skip the next stitch, and then we'll do a double crochet in the following. And then we will chain 1 and skip 1. So we're just going to keep repeating this all the way across until we have 1 stitch remaining. do 1 double crochet, and then chain 1, skip 1, and then start in the following stitch with another double crochet, and then chain 1 and skip 1. So each row as you're going along will have an odd number of stitches. So if you end up on one of these rows with the stitch in the chain space, skipping one, and you find you're off, at the end of it, you know you either dropped or added a stitch somewhere. Alright, so we chain 1, we skip 1, and then we're at that last stitch. So in that last stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, all in that last stitch. There's a double crochet and a chain 1, and then the last double crochet. For the next row, the second row of the repeat, and this will be row 8, we're going to chain 4, we're going to turn our work. Now in this first stitch, we're going to do a triple crochet, and then we chain 1, so that all counts for in the first stitch, 1 triple crochet and 1 chain 1. Then we have this chain space here, and in that we're going to do a triple crochet, now we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to do a triple crochet in the next chain space. We're going to do this all the way across, chaining 1, skipping a stitch, and then triple crocheting into the chain space. And do that until you have 1 stitch left in this row. Okay, so once we triple crochet into that last chain space, we have that last stitch left. You want to chain 1 and then do a triple crochet into the last stitch. So for row 8, we increase by 2 stitches instead of 4 like we've previously been doing. And from here on out in this pattern, the only row that'll increase by 4 is the first row of the repeat, and that's the first double crochet chain 1. The other rows of the repeat will only increase by 2 stitches each row. Okay, so for row 9, we're going to chain 3, turn our work. Now in this first stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And then we're going to chain 1, and then in the next chain space right after that stitch, we're going to do double crochet into that, Then we're going to chain one, we're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the next chain space. And we're going to repeat this all the way across, chaining one, skipping a stitch, and then doing a double crochet into the chain space until we're at the last stitch of the row. Now that I've done a double crochet in that last chain space, I'm on the last stitch. I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to double crochet into that last stitch. Okay, so for row 10, we're going to chain two, we're going to turn our work. This row is all half double crochets. So in the first stitch, we're going to do 2 half double crochets. And now in that next chain space, we're going to do 1 half double crochet, and then do a half double crochet into the next stitch. And to do a half double crochet, you just yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. We're just going to do this all the way across. 1 half double crochet in the stitch, 1 half double crochet in the chain space, and do that until you've reached the last stitch of the row. When you've done the half double crochet in that last chain space and you're at the last stitch of the row, you want to do 2 half double crochets in that last stitch. For row 11, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. And this once again is just all half double crochets all the way across. So starting in the first stitch, you're going to do 2 half double crochets into that first stitch. And now we're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch all the way across until we're at the last stitch of this row. Once you're at the last stitch of the row, you want to do 2 half double crochets in that last stitch. And that is the last row of the repeat. Okay, so after you've completed row 11, the rest of the pattern is just a repeat of rows 7 through 11, and you're going to repeat that 13 more times, so you'll have a total of 14 of these repeats. Okay, so the first row of your repeat is the double crochet chain space. In this row of the repeat, we'll increase the number of stitches in the row by 4, and that's the only one in the repeat that does that. The next row of your repeat is the triple crochet in the chain space, and that one will increase by 2 stitches, with the first stitch being the triple crochet in the chain. And then in the next chain space, you'll be doing the triple crochet. That's followed by another row of the double crochet chain space, and then that is followed by 2 half double crochet rows. Then you'll start over again, double crochet, chain space, triple crochet, chain space, double crochet, chain space, 2 half double crochets. Now on my website I do have the chart for this that does have the row number with the number of stitches that should be in the row and what the row is, along with the written pattern. And after you finish your last row of your repeat, you can go ahead and fasten off and weaving your ends. If you'd like to keep going to make the shawl bigger, you can. Or if you'd like to make it a little bit smaller, you can just not do the repeat as many times.